Hi, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with some of the books, well, all of the books, I guess, not some of them, that I bought in January. Well, I guess some of them is more correct because there are a couple pre-orders that I ordered this month that are not coming, except for two of them that are actually supposed to be here today and are not yet today because my mail usually isn't here by now, and it's not here by now. Anyway, it's very windy today. You might be able to tell from the shadow movement or the wind, the sound of the wind. It's been very loud. Anyway, here are the books I bought this month. One of my goals for this year was to create a deficit in what I bring in versus what I read, and I don't know how I'm doing with that yet. Not so good. I made a trip to Barnes & Noble, which like I don't do typically like every month because I will buy a bunch of books, and that's exactly what I did. And that trip happened after, it was like a surprise trip, you know, like I wasn't planning on going there, but my husband was driving and we ended up there, and I can't say like, no, I don't want to buy books, you know? So I bought a couple books, and that was already after I had already bought a couple books, and you know how that goes. So my trip to Barnes & Noble, I saw this book, and it was like the second book in a series. So I was like, I hope I can find the first book, and I did. It's this book right here. It's really big. This is called The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. It's compared to the Wheel of Time series, which I have not read, but it's like a big fantasy series. And it seems like this is going to be a book where there is a character who has some sort of power, and he's like not supposed to have it, and he has it, and there's a war. That's what it seems like is going to happen in this book. And like, I wouldn't have picked it up if I'm interested in it, obviously. Maybe my summary of that is a little blasé, but it does seem like it's going to be a good book. I'm throwing books everywhere. Next, I picked up The House in the Cerulean Sea, and this one has been kind of buzzy lately, maybe a few months ago, and I had no idea what it was about, but like my eyes saw it while I was at the bookstore, and I was like, well, I want to know what this is about. And then I read the back, and this really isn't typically something that I think I'd be interested in, but it sounds whimsical. This is about a man who is, let's see, he is a caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. So he's like a magic social worker, and he meets somebody else he works with, and they start a relationship. It's like a queer, whimsically magical romance. It sounds really nice, which is not what I read, you know? I don't like things that sound nice, but this seems really cute and fun. Not typically, that's not something normally I would want to read. Is there something wrong? Does my brain need tuning up? Okay, so this is a book that I've wanted for a long time. This is The Chain by Adrian McKinty. Not like years and years and years, but it's probably been a good year and a half, maybe 2 years since this came out. And this is about this like chain where your child is kidnapped, not adopted. Your child is kidnapped, and to get your child back, you have to kidnap another child. So that's all I know about this. It's a thriller. I don't want to know much more than that. It says it won Best Novel of the Year, an International Thriller Writers Award winner. Has a blurb by Stephen King, which honestly does not mean much. He blurbs a lot of stuff that I don't like. So the last one I picked up at Barnes & Noble is The Return by Rachel Harrison. This came out, I believe, last year, or maybe late 2019. But this is about a group of friends. One of the friends goes missing, and 2 years later she turns up again and has like no memory of what happened. And that's all I know about this. I really love this cover. This like two-tone pink and black. Well, I guess like it's kind of grayish too, but you know what I mean. It's just very striking. It's a book that I want to see on my shelves. You know what I mean? Do you? I also won a giveaway, a Goodreads giveaway for The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. I've considered picking up his books before. He writes some horror. This one is more like a maybe dark seeming fantasy. I'm gonna read the synopsis for you. This comes out in May 2021, so I have a couple months before I need to get to it. This says, Kinch Na Shanak owes the Takers Guild a small fortune for his education as a thief, which includes, but is not limited to, lock-picking, knife fighting, wall scaling, fall breaking, lie weaving, trap making, plus a few small magics. His debt has driven him to lie in wait by the Old Forest Road, planning to rob the next traveler that crosses his path. But today, Kinch Na Shanak has picked the wrong mark. Galva is a knight, a survivor of the brutal goblin wars and handmaiden of the goddess of death. She is searching for her queen, missing since a distant northern city fell to giants. Unsuccessful in his robbery and lucky to escape with his life, Kinch now finds his fate entangled with Galva's. Common enemies and uncommon dangers force thief and knight on an epic journey where goblins hunger for human flesh, krakens hunt in dark waters, and honor is a luxury few can afford. This one sounds so interesting to me. I love like dark fantasy books with weird critters in them, like fucking goblins. I haven't read a book with a goblin in it since, I don't know, fucking 1870. And I'm really interested in what this has to offer. This is the beginning to a series. Love the cover of this. Can't wait to pick up a finished copy. And of course, read this one. I bought this one just kind of on a whim because I kept seeing it on Twitter. This is Along the Path of Torment by Chandler Morrison. I have not read any of Chandler Morrison's work. And honestly, I have not read a lot of extreme horror. I just don't know if that's my thing yet. I don't know. I haven't really tried it out. I haven't really found it super appealing, I guess. Not that I think I won't like it. I've just never been, drawn to it, I guess. But I'm gonna try it. I really love this cover so much. It reminds me of like a sun-bleached poster of Miami or LA or something. I'm gonna read you the synopsis for this too. It says, Ty Seward is a sick man, anorexic, sexually aberrant, and haunted by a ghostly apparition residing in his closet. Living in the shadow of an in-remission cancer he fully expects to return, Ty bitterly earns his meager living by working as an assistant to his uncle, a business and media mogul who runs a lucrative child prostitution ring catering to the Hollywood elite. When Ty's line of work introduces him to a precocious teenage girl who seems to possess a shrewdly keen insight into his inner machinations, he is forced to confront his hidden demons and repressed trauma, embarking on a bleak and harrowing odyssey of the self-discovery in the decomposing city of angels. So, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm gonna get myself into it. Next, I picked up The Girl in the Video by Michael David Wilson. This I picked up because it was a recommendation by Rachel, I think, on a Books in the Freezer podcast episode. But this is about a teacher who receives a weirdly arousing video and then his life descends into paranoia and obsession. More videos follow, each containing information no stranger could possibly know. I'm assuming about himself, but who's sending them and what do they want? The answers may destroy everything and everyone he loves. I'm really interested in books that involve technology, like horror and technology, kind of like Ghoster by Jason Arnott, or Last Days. Well, I don't know. Does that one really... I guess they're filming a documentary, but Hex kind of has that in it. So I'm looking forward to getting in some more horror like that. And this one seems really short. It actually kind of reminds me, at least, I haven't read it yet, but there was this movie that came out on Netflix a couple years ago called Cam, and it was about a cam girl who's like starts getting like stalked on the internet and like someone steals her identity, and I'm wondering if that might feel a little bit like Cam once I read it. I'll have to see. Obviously, instead of a cam girl, it's somebody receiving videos. You know, I don't know. What am I saying now? Next, I picked up Centralia, and I believe Centralia is in Pennsylvania. It's kind of a weird place because there were these mines underneath the city. If you've seen the movie Silent Hill, that's based on this place. And there was a fire in the mines, and it just like has never stopped burning underneath the ground. And so now Centralia itself is like a ghost town with a fucking furnace underneath it. It's so creepy and just like such a strange anomaly. So this is like a take on that. It's not exactly about Centralia, Pennsylvania, but about like the evils that have, I don't know, something about people in different places coming together to fight the evil that started in Centralia. And each chapter is about a person from a different place, and it's written by different authors, kind of like an anthology, maybe a little bit. So it's Brian Keene, Heath Amodio, Michael Patrick Hicks, Adam Cesare, Brian Quinn, and Cullen Bunn. So I don't know, it just seems like such an interesting way to put a book together, I guess. And also, I think Centralia itself is so weird and crazy. Like I said, such a strange anomaly. So the last couple of books I have here are books that came in subscription boxes this month. From the Nightworms, these are all books from Grindhouse Press, which is, I believe, owned by C.B. Hunt. So this one is Merciless by Brian Smith. We also got Horrorama, which is an anthology edited by C.B. Hunt. And this one I'm so excited about. This is Paradise Club by Tim Meyer. If you'd like a more in-depth look into those books, I will leave a link to my unboxing video down below. And then from Owl Crate this month, we got Lore by Alexandra Bracken. And I've never read any of Alexandra Bracken's books before, but I am interested in this Greek mythology thing, although really I have not read much like mythology fiction at all, or like any mythology non-fiction either. Is that considered non-fiction? I don't know. So I'm going to read you the synopsis for this as well, because I really don't know how to give you a synopsis of this myself. So this says, every 7 years the Aegon begins. As punishment for past rebellion, 9 Greek gods are forced to walk the earth as mortals. They are hunted by the descendants of an ancient bloodlines, more than one, all eager to kill a god and seize their divine power and immortality. Long ago, Lore Perseus fled that brutal world, turning her back on the hunt's promises of eternal glory after her family was murdered by a rival line. For years, she's pushed away any thought of revenge against the man, now a god, responsible for their deaths. Yet as the hunt dawns over New York City, 2 participants seek her out. Castor, a childhood friend Lore believed to be dead, and Athena, one of the last original gods now gravely wounded. The goddess offers Lore an alliance between their mutual enemy and a way to leave the Aegon behind forever. But Lore's decision to rejoin the hunt, binding her fate to Athena's, will now come at a deadly cost, and it may not be enough to stop the rise of a new god with the power to bring humanity to its knees. So I have some questions about this, like, to me this seems like they hunt the gods, right? And then if someone kills the god, they get to take the god's power and become immortal, but then they have to participate in being hunted when the hunt begins again? That's what it seems like to me. I don't know, I guess I'll find out. This does seem really interesting, and I love the cover. It is really spectacular. It looks like it's carved out of marble. Beautiful. That is my haul for the month. Probably more books than I'm gonna end up reading this month, but oh, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be gooder about it. And you know what? I'm not gonna be much gooder next month because I ordered 3 books, 3 new releases already. But I'm gonna tell you about that in my, what is it called? My TBR video for February. So keep an eye out for that. I will be filming that and putting that up in the next couple days. So like I said, keep your peepers peeled. Let me know if you've read any of these. let me know what you bought this month. I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye.